All right. So let's get started. Let's get started. All right. So today we're going to be talking about market structure. Again, like I said before, we're going to be taking this one step at a time. So I'm not going to be jump packing everything. Uh, so we're going to be taking this one step at a time. And all you need to do, literally, all you need to do is to pay attention. It's as simple as that. Just pay attention because I'm sure you are going to really, really understand. So today we are going to be talking about um market structure. Market structure. Another market structure we're going to be talking about break of structure and change of character. All right, so this is what we're going to be talking about today in today's Zoom meeting. This is what we're going to be talking about in today's Zoom meeting. So let's get started. Yesterday we talked about candlesticks and time frame. All right, so we understand that. Again, as we progress in this section on this lesson, we are then going to get to a stage where we're going to bring all those things together, and then we're going to understand and we're going to come up with a strategy. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing. All right, so what is market structure? Market structure is simply the movement of the market, whether you're trading forex, crypto, indices, and all that. Market structure works for everything. It is simply the movement of the market, right? So how does the market moves, right? The market moves in three ways, right? It moves in three ways. Now, whenever you open the charts, forex, crypto, any kind of markets, any kind of forex chart, any kind of charts you open, the markets will always move in one of these three ways. It's either it is going up like this, it's either it's going up like this, or it is going down like this, or this is going sideways like this. Guys, these are the three ways the forex market moves. It's either it is going up, down, or sideways. Now, guys, please note this is just textbook definition of market structure going up, down. It doesn't really just sometimes you open the forex chart, you open the market, and it's not just following. That's why you don't cram this. You just need to understand. You don't have to cram, you just need to understand. Sometimes it does not just follow this same exact pattern, right? Sometimes it does something like this. Like this. But then you still understand that it is going up, right? You still understand the same principle. You just need to really understand the whole thing, right? All right. So we're going to understand better as we progress into the market, into market structure. So we're going to understand all this, right? When we get to like advanced market structure, because we're still going to be talking about advanced market structure. Right. So let's just go back to the simple basic market structure. Is it that the market is going up like this, going down like this, or it is going sideways like this? Right. So let's talk about the instance where the market is going up. What happens when the market is going up like this? So what happens in an when the market is going up? So if the market is going up, we call it an uptrending market. It's just simple English. It's going up, it's an uptrend. Very simple. All right. So in an uptrend, two things happen. Now let me tell you why the market even goes up. Now listen, let's assume there are 100 people in the market. Why does I'm trying to explain why the market moves itself, right? What causes the movement of the market? Let's say there are 100 people in the market. This is just an illustration. Anyway, let's say there are 100 people buying and selling this particular market. This volatility is 25 index. Let's say there are 100 people buying and selling at this time. All right. Let's say there are 100 people buying and selling at this time. Now, what will make the markets go up or down? That's what I'm about to tell you. What causes the movement, right? Let's say there are 100 people in the market buying and selling. And now, out of that 100 people, 70 are buying and 30 are selling. Because 70 people are buying and 30 are selling, the 70 people that are buying are going to push, because they are buying, it's going to push the price to the upside. It's going to push the price up like this. So that's why markets will move up. So if you see markets moving up, that is there are more buyers in the market than sellers. All right. So the market moves up like this. It gets to a point where the buyers are not willing to continue buying. All right. It gets to a point, an expensive price. It gets to a price that is expensive that new buyers do not want to keep buying, right? Because it has gotten to a price that they don't want to keep buying. It's now expensive to keep buying. And now those that have already bought, all right, that have already buy from this old place, they are not willing to keep buying. So what do? They sell their order. They sell their order. So because they are selling their orders, there are now more sellers in the market than buyers. Now, when we have more sellers, the market comes down like this. Now, the market gets to a point where the people in the market are now willing to keep buying. That's getting to what we call discount price. That's gotten to a discount price where people are ready to start buying again. Now they start buying, there are more buyers again than sellers. It pushes them up. That's how the uptrend happens. And then the same thing happens. It gets to a price they're not willing to keep buying. It comes down because they start selling their orders. Comes down like this, and then it gets to a point where they want to keep buying. Goes up. Same thing happen like this. Till they get to a point where they just want to sell and start going again. And then starts how the forex market. Well, that's what moves the market. So let's talk about this in a layman language, right? Let's leave buyers and sellers out of this, right? So in an uptrend, we have this. The market moves up like this. Now, one thing you should notice, the market cannot just keep going up for eternity in a straight line. No, it has never done that. It will never do that. Guys, please hold on. Let me just quickly pick this call. 1 minute. All right. So let's continue. Sorry, I had to quickly take that call. Let me just quickly do transfer. I want to send money to someone. Just 1 minute. Hold on a bit, please. All right. Like I was saying, the market cannot just keep going up for eternity. It gets to a point where it wants to, retest. They call it retests. All right. It gets to a point where they have to retest. 1 minute. Okay. I'm finding this transfer difficult to do. I don't know what's wrong with my pen. Right. All right. All right. So let's continue here. All right. I've been able to do what I want to do. So it goes up like this. You get exhausted, right? You get exhausted. It comes down, back down a bit because it is an uptrend. All right. There's the power that is pushing it up. It continues going up. It gets to a point, it cannot keep going up for eternity, get exhausted, it comes down. Continue going up, get exhausted, come down. Continue going. Just that's basically how this is. All right, that's what we see in an uptrend. And then in a downtrend, we have something the same. It goes down, it cannot keep going down for eternity. It goes up a little, it continue going down, get exhausted, goes up a little. Now, for this market to keep it being a downtrend, it has to go, it has to give us a low that is lower than this lowest point. It gives us this. Something like that keeps happening. This is what happening in downtrend, right? Now, we call this thing something like, let's call them the name. Guess you hear it somewhere. It's not as if the names are very important. You just need to understand the concept. But then let's talk about them. Now, in an uptrend, it gives us a high like this. a low like this. That's it, this is the beginning. And then for this market to keep being an uptrend, it's just common sense, guys. For this market to keep being an uptrend, it has to give us what? A new highest point that is higher than this. This is a recent highest point, right? The current highest point. For this market to keep being an uptrend, for us to say this market is still an uptrend, that's to give us a new highest point that is higher than this highest point. So we have something like this, gives us a new highest point. Now, this new highest point is called higher high. The reason it's called the higher high is because it is higher than this highest point, the previous highest point. That's why it's called higher high. It's just simple English. Now, if it gives us this low again, like we understand it would, this one is called the higher low because it is higher than the previous lowest point. This is the previous lowest point. This one is higher than the previous lowest point. So in an uptrend, you are always expecting what? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, like that. So that's what we're expecting in an uptrend. So one thing, if you open your chart, one thing you need to first get to understand is what trend is this market? Is it an uptrend and a downtrend? Now, for you to confirm that this is an uptrend, they have to keep giving you higher highs and higher lows, right? It's very easy to note. And then another important thing you need to notice, it's an uptrend, but what phase of the market are we in? Has it giving us what? Sometimes that's giving you like this. That's giving you this higher high. Now, this is where so many people get it wrong because the market has given us the higher high like this, right? And they see it's an uptrend. And once people think because you see it's an uptrend, you need to start buying immediately. Right? People start buying from here. But this is what would then happen because they do not understand this thing I'm explaining to you now, market structure. They do not understand that the next thing that's about to happen here is higher low. They will now start buying from here, and then the market will go down on them like this. They give us a higher low, and then they lost, and the market is their stop loss, and they are losing in the market. They'll be like, what is going on? And then they close, and before you know, the market has given us this, and be like, wow, I'm correct. But then they are actually correct, but they entered at the wrong time. So one thing is not just to know the trend the market is currently on. You need to understand what phase the market is on. Is it giving us a high? Has it given us a higher high, or is it about to give us a higher low? It's as simple as that. We're still going to talk about that in details later. I just need to explain that briefly. Guys, please, are you understanding what I'm saying, please? Are we following? Are we following me, please? I want the response from us. Are we following, please? We can drop a chat or you can just say something in the chat, please. Are we following? All right, all right. So for a downtrend, it's the same analogy, right? In a downtrend, we have a low like this, and then we have a high like this. For this market to keep in a downtrend, it has to give us a low that is lower than this low. Then we have this. This one is called the lower low. Remember, for the uptrend, it's called the higher high. Here it's called the lower low. Why? Because it is lower than the previous lowest point. All right. So the next thing we're expected to see is this. We call this a lower high, right? It is low, but it is high, but it is lower than the previous highest point. This is the previous highest point. That's why this one is called the lower high. And then after the lower high, we have a lower low. So in a downtrend, we're expecting to see lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, like that, lower low, like that. So that's what we're expecting to see. So once I enter a market and I'm in a downtrend, I best say, okay, what phase am I in this downtrend? If I'm like this, I know that the next thing that is happening is what? A lower low. So this is a perfect place to buy, to sell, and you experience what? A lower low like this. All right. Now, look at the mistakes some people even do. Maybe you sell at this point, right? You need to be able to find the beginning of a lower low to sell. Let's say you sell at this point, you enter a sell here, and the market still go down like this a little, you're in profit, right? You are happy, you're in profits. It has given you a lower low like this. And then once to give you this lower high, sometimes the market will now do like that's why you see some people, you enter a trade, you're already in profit, but later it goes back into loss like this. And it's still correct because the market is just giving us what this is a lower low, lower high. You just entered at the wrong place, right? And then later you now see that the market now continue doing what you expect it to do, like this. So you need to be able to know how to enter at the right time. And that's what this whole section or this whole group is about. All right. So that's what it's about. So the next thing that what I just explained to you guys here is market structure. Is market structure. All right. Hold on. So now the next thing we're going to be talking about is break of structure. So what is break of structure? What is break of structure? Now we need to understand all these concepts properly. All right. We need to understand this concept properly. Let's go back to the uptrend scenario. In an uptrend, we have what? A higher high, higher low. Now, what is break of structure? Break of structure is just the point. Remember, we said for this thing to keep being an uptrend, it has to give us a high that is higher than the previous highest point, right? Now, the point at which the market breaks the previous highest point to give us a new highest point is called our break of structure. The point at which the market breaks the previous highest point, this is the previous highest point, to give us a new highest point is called our break of structure. That's what our break of structure is, right? So if I have something like this again, lower low, lower high, where's our break of structure here? The point at which the market breaks the previous highest point to give us a new highest point is what we call our break of structure. So I can say for this market to keep being an uptrend, we have to keep breaking structure to the upside, all right? To the upside. That's what break of structure is, right? So let's see break of structure in a downtrend scenario. In a downtrend scenario, we have lower low like this, lower high. The point at which the market breaks the recent lowest point to give us a new lowest point is called our break of structure. These are our break of structure. All right, so that's our break of structure. The point at which the market breaks the previous lowest point to give us a new lowest point is our break of structure. So the market has to break structure before we can see this market has continued its downtrend like that. So if the market did not break this structure, it has not continued its downtrend, but then it has to keep breaking structure, break the structure for us to say this market has continued its downtrend. It's still a downtrend, right? So that's what break of structure is. Break of structure is not really something that is that complicated, right? So let's see the next one. Change of character. What is change of character? Hold on. What is change of character? Now, we say break of structure tells us if the trend has continued. If it's an uptrend, break of structure tells us that the trend has continued in an uptrend. So change of character is just the opposite. It tells us, again, like I said before, if the market is going in an uptrend or is going up, it cannot go up for eternity. Same as an uptrend. If it's an uptrend, it cannot keep going up trend for eternity. At a point, it's going to change from an uptrend to a downtrend. All right. So let's see an example of that. So the market is giving us what? This higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So at a point, the market is going to now change from an uptrend to a downtrend. So the art of the market changing from an uptrend to a downtrend is what we call change of character. So how does that happen? How does that happen? Now, in an uptrend, I love to always do what we call mark what I call my point of interest. Where is my point of interest? Once I see lower low like this and lower high, I like to mark the highest point, the recent highest point, and the recent lowest point. So inside of this here is my point of interest, all right? I like to mark the recent highest point and the recent lowest point, and inside of that box is my point of interest, all right? So what I just need to do is wait for everything. See, so for this to keep being an uptrend, I need to see what a higher low like this and a break of structure. But what if it did not break? Now, for this, like I said, like we said before, for this to continue being an uptrend, that's to break the recent highest point. But what if the market breaks the recent lowest point instead? If the market breaks the recent lowest point instead, like this, it means the market wants to now change from an uptrend to a downtrend. All right. The point at which the market breaks the recent lowest point in an uptrend, all right, breaks the recent lowest point in an uptrend is called a change of character or change of character. Now, once it breaks the recent lowest point, what am I expecting to see? It has now changed to a downtrend. In a downtrend, we're expecting to see what? Lower low, lower high. Now, this is where so many people make mistakes. It breaks the recent lowest point, they're still expecting this to continue going up. And then it did not do that. It give us a lower high. And then continue like this as a lower low. And then they are taking out. Now, this point here by which the market breaks the recent lowest point to give us what? A new low is called our change of character. Called our change of character. As you can see, the market has now changed from an uptrend to a downtrend. And a downtrend, this is our break of structure. Here, we expect a break of structure to the downside. Please, do we understand this, please? Do we understand this? Do we understand, please? I want you guys to answer. Do we understand? But now, for those that came late, this section is being recorded. You can still watch the recorded version. Do we understand this, guys? For those that have been here, do we understand this?
Understand.
All right, let me quickly explain this again. Now, for those that do not understand, let me just do a brief explanation again of this so we can understand this better. All right. Again, in an uptrend, we're expecting to see what? Higher highs, higher low, like this, higher high, higher low. Now, for this to keep being an uptrend, the recent highest point has to be broken. See, the recent highest point has been broken to give us a new highest point, and then we have what? A higher low. And then the recent highest point has to get broken again, right? To give us to tell us that this market has continued its uptrend. All right. So what if the recent lowest point gets broken? Now, for a change of character, for us to say this market is called change of character, this is the recent highest point, right? This is the recent. I did not say the lowest point. This is the lowest point in this whole chart. I'm saying the recent lowest point. This is the recent lowest point. Right. So inside of this here is my point of interest, which I'm interested in. So for this to keep being an uptrend, I'm going to just expect to see higher low and a continuation, higher high. This is an uptrend, right? But then what if the recent highest point did not get broken? Again, we say for this market to keep being an uptrend, the recent highest point has to get broken. So what if the recent highest point did not get broken and instead the recent lowest point like this get broken? If the recent lowest point get broken, it means the market has now changed from an uptrend to a downtrend. And that's what we call change of character. Change of character. So the point at which the market breaks the recent lowest point in an uptrend to give us a new lowest point is called our change of character. And in a downtrend, what did I say before in a downtrend? In a downtrend, we're expecting to see what? Lower low, lower high, lower low, like this. Lower high, lower low. So that is how you see the market change from what? An uptrend. As you can see, it was an uptrend before, and then it changed to a downtrend. How did it change to a downtrend? The market breaks the recent lowest point. Breaks the recent lowest point to give us what? To give us a change of character, and then now change from an uptrend to a downtrend. Now let's see from a downtrend to an uptrend. Now, in a downtrend, we're expecting to see what? Lower low, like this, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. That's the same concept. My point of interest is the recent highest point and then the recent lowest point. Now, for this market to keep being a downtrend, we're expected to see this and break of structure. What if it did not break the recent lowest point and instead it broke the recent highest point? Once it breaks the recent highest point, the point at which the market breaks the recent highest point in a downtrend to give us what? A new highest point is what? Our change of character. So once we have a change of character, we know in an uptrend we're expecting to say what? Higher high. We'll be expecting to see what? A higher low and a continuation. Higher high, higher low, higher high. So this is how the market has now changed from what? A downtrend to an uptrend. Now, this point here, hold on. This point here is where the market changed. These are change of character from a downtrend to an uptrend. When the market breaks what? The recent highest point in a downtrend to give us what? A new highest point. All right, it is at that point the market changed what? From a downtrend to an uptrend. So that's what change of character means. So change of character help us to tell us when the market wants to now change its trend from a downtrend to an uptrend. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. All right, it's as simple as that. So that is that for market structure. For market structure. So in our next class, we are going to be looking at, and then in our next class, we are then going to be going into the chart. In our next class, we are going to be looking at advanced market structure. That is tomorrow. We are going to be looking at advanced market structure because this is just basic market structure. This was us understanding the concepts of market structure. Then we're going to be going to advanced market structure. And then after we talk about advanced market structure, we're going to then see it in the chart. We're going to go to the chart and see exactly how it plays out and how it works. That's what we're going to be looking at. Now, having said all that, we already have 4 people in our VIP group. Once we get to 10 people, again, we won't be waiting for anyone. Once we get to 10 people, we're then going to be uh, starting our challenge, and we're going to be starting the class on the Deref platform. Again, I told you guys that we're going to be uh, working on. Someone said, I understand. Okay, that's cool. Now we're going to be working on turning $100 into 11,000 or $10,000 and $50 into $5,000. You do not want to miss out on that. Trust me. Again, once we start all that, I just need 10 people. I have 4 people already. Once we start that, those that are already participating and making profit, of course, we're going to be showing everything we're doing as we're making profit. We're going to be showing to all that in the general group. Also, you're going to be seeing everything, right? So you do not want to just see, you also want to be a part of that. Now, for those that are still doubting if that is possible or not, I have a video. Let me even see. Let me see. Let me see if I can bring out that video. Yeah, this here. Let me show you. Okay, these are my videos here. All right, this is the video here where we turn $100 to over $100 to over $10,000, $100 to over $10,000. This is a video here. You can come and watch. I think I'll drop the link in the group right there, so you can actually watch how we're able to do that before in the past. This one is even in less than 9 days. I think 10 days we're able to turn $100 to $10,000, which is very amazing. So we're about to do that again. So you do not want to miss out on that. I'm not going to be doing that in the free group. I'm not even going to be talking about anything about this platform in the general group or in the free group, right? I'm going to be doing all of that about this platform and how we can make money with this on this platform in the VIP group, and you do not want to miss out. Just $30 to join us, $30 to join us, and you can learn how to flip account, turn small account size into. It's not just about making the money now; it's about knowing how to do it yourself, right? Imagine you know how to turn $10 into $1,000, right? That's going to be an amazing skill to have. And then, of course, learning how to trade on here is just not how to do all this one is just not enough. You need to also understand and know how to apply it here. You need to know how to apply it here, and that's what I'm going to be showing you guys. I'm going to be showing us. All right, so that's that on that. Having said that, I'm going to be ending the section here tonight. We're going to be coming again tomorrow to continue with advanced market structure. All right, again, if you have any question, you can drop in the WhatsApp group. I'll be happy to answer all your questions. And if you want to join the VIP group, send me a DM on WhatsApp and I'll attend to you. Again, we are already at 4 people, just 6 people remaining for us to get to 10 people, and then we can get started. So that is that and that, guys. Thank you for joining the live section tonight. If you missed the live section, if you missed the beginning, it's being recorded, and I'm going to share the recorded version in the group. All right, I'm going to share I'm going to upload on YouTube, and I'm going to share the recorded version in the group, so you are not still going to miss out on anything. So you can rewatch the recorded version and all that. So thank you for joining this section tonight. We're going to talk better in the WhatsApp group.